It is a splendid time in the garden. First it's dreary, and then it's sunny, and then when your espaliered apple trees arrive, it's fabulous. I have been wanting espaliered trees for as long as I can remember. I also treated myself to a little bay leaf plant that I will bring inside for the winter. But the espaliered trees, I think, are going to add the perfect touch of formality, because so much of my cottage garden and my potager has been harvested from the property. So we're using twigs to support plants and to train them. We're using rocks and logs for bed delineation. And just that touch of elegance that the shaped tree is going to bring, I think is going to take this garden just to the next level. Of course, in the future, I'll be adding some boxwood and just sort of always balancing out that rustic with the formal.
Look at him. 3 tiers.
I am so happy to have these trees. Last week on Potager, you saw that I dug a pond in the center of the garden, and shame on me, I didn't film this part. I was actually having a pretty bad day, and I needed to come and blow off some steam out in my garden. So I drug a tarp over. A neighbor gave us this pond tarp. He no longer needed it. I did some patchwork to make it work for my space, and I went a little crazy harvesting stone from all around the property. I was loading up the truck and going back and forth, and I guess there just wasn't time to drag the camera around. But what a difference a couple hours makes. I went from a big dirty hole in the ground to a pond. Now, this project is done on an extreme budget, so Joel gave me some roofing material, and that's what I'm folding there. I'm just folding it 4 times to provide a little extra cush for the big rocks, because I'm going to want to be as careful as I can with this pond liner. The rocks I harvested out of the forest, they're covered in moss and beautiful ancient coral. The rocks here in Door County are so stunning.
I asked Junior to bring me paper towels, and he brought me a bath towel. It's hysterical. So this evening I'll hop online and I'll order my snails and a lot more plants. I just found this water iris out in the back in the brush where a previous homeowner had a little like 2x3 pond. And I pulled this out of the muck. So it leads to something, and the whole point is that so far I haven't spent a dime on this project in my potager, my creative quarantine adventures. But yeah, I'm gonna have to order some plants because I do need to have about 60% of it covered with water hyacinth and things like that. So, but I'm pretty pleased. What a difference 2 hours makes. I've gone around and gathered wild thyme and some of the snow and summer from the garden and some moss for the shadier sides because the sun will come across like this. And it looks pretty charming if you ask me.
Now I have this center of beauty right in the middle of the garden, a place to fill my pots, a place to raise frogs and hear them sing me to sleep every night. From one aspect of the property to the other, we are harvesting trees from an area of the woods that makes way too much shade on the garden. And we're going to use the trees to make a series of raised beds in the back of the garden, which I shared with you a little bit last week. This is extremely labor intensive. These trees are very, very tall. We got one hung up on another And then we need to bring them out of the forest, which is a ton of work, but I have to tell you, it's so rewarding. And I love using what we have. Instead of heading south to one of the big stores and buying pre-treated wood, we're just using our resources. The trees needed to come down anyways. It's a family effort. We're going to make the beds together, plant the seeds together, and then of course, enjoy the harvest together. The forest in the spring is absolutely magical. I love to take my camera out at dawn. You can see the sunlight just starting to touch the forest, and I love crawling around and observing flowers I had never seen before living here, like these wood hyacinth. It's a true deception to believe there's a lack of color. Even though things are barely blooming, there are touches of color everywhere, and they're gorgeous. And they're a sign of life in the middle of decay. They're a sign of life to come, of spring emerging from a long Midwestern winter. And they're vibrant. They want us to know they're here and the season has begun.
I'm going to open up this bag on my new apple trees and give them a good soak in the pond before I plant them. That'll give me time to run over and get some compost and dig the holes. Ooh, it's tough plastic. Get rid of all this paper. The paper, of course, would biodegrade in the soil, but I don't really want it in my pond. I am so happy about these little trees. I think they're going to be the perfect addition to the potager. So these are 3-tiered espaliers. Of course, your espaliers can be trained to do a variety of things, from a Belgian fence to single tiers, multiple tiers. These are going to go horizontal, and I'm going to put them along the path coming in to the potager just after you enter the potager, because I have this definite tunnel theme. I've got all the arbors that the roses are growing on, and I think this will be a great entranceway. So after you walk into the potager, then you'll kind of walk through this fruit tunnel to get to the pond. I have wanted espaliered apple trees as long as I have been a gardener. I won't tell you how long that's been. So this is something really incredible for me. I hate to use the pun, but coming to fruition. Okay, here we go. So excited. So this will grow this way, and on the opposing side will be another one. And I've got the compost mixed in with the dirt so that I don't burn any roots. It's well composted, well broken down. That's going to be perfect. What I'm going to do is lay a stick across the hole and a little bit deeper. I'm going to bury it right to like the graft knot, so that stick is going to help me figure that out. So I'm going to go as deep as I can. Of course, we're bedrock here, so our roots end up going out instead of down. So let's open this up just a little bit. See if we can't get that knot right at the horizon line. Don't want to bury it because you don't want it to rot. I think that's going to be good. I'm a little nervous. I'm so excited about this. I'm a little nervous. Just top dressing this with a little bit more compost. I'm definitely a novice as far as fruit trees go, but you know, I've planted the orchard last year. I think this beauty is going to be okay. It's definitely an investment into the garden. They were pretty affordable as far as espaliered fruit trees go, but nonetheless, I want her to feel well cared for. So I'm going to give her a soak, and I'm going to go in for a much deserved piping hot cup of coffee and a bagel. This is my new carrot bed. We finished it yesterday. We finished 3 out of about 11 beds that we're going to build. They take forever because of the work involved getting the trees out of the forest. I've got some sand that I'm going to work into the soil because carrots love sand. I have some beautiful pelleted seed and a great storage variety. So because of everything that's happening in the world, I'm really focusing on vegetables that store well. So I'm going to load this up, and hopefully we will have carrots for the next year.
Some in my hand.
I decided to raid my herb garden of some chives. I have so many chives, and what you see right there will turn into a solid wall about 2 feet wide and 1.5 feet high. And so I'm dividing some, and I'm going to take them over to my newly planted carrot bed to use as a companion plant. Companion planting is one of my most favorite things to do in the garden, using strategic herbs and vegetables to benefit other herbs and vegetables. So these chives will help keep pests away from my carrots. I've got them at either side of the bed. Now it's time to cover the seed and wait.
Well, this is the end of a really long day. It's been 11 hours of splendor. I just poured myself a glass of wine. I'm gonna go in and make the family pizza. Truth be told, don't tell anyone, but I could go till about 10 o'clock at night out here. But I got a really great start this morning around 6:30, and now it's time to be done. But last year on this day, we got 3 feet of snow. And this year, I've got beets planted, spinach growing, carrots planted, leeks, and radish. 3 raised beds, a pond dug. We are on our way to a fantastic 3rd year of this garden at Sur Rocher. If you enjoyed this video, would you give a thumbs up? Be sure to subscribe. Follow me on Instagram if you don't already. You should check out this video here and this one right here, and I'll see you next time. A bientôt.